comparatively clean to a lot of people that you hear, right? And
especially tonight.
yeah, no. But it sounds more expressive than the sort of oversaturated, distorted, sound. So I'm pleasantly surprised, right? With what, because usually, you hear a lot of gain.
Yeah.
A lot of gain.
Yeah, I think with a tone like that, where Max, this is actually a little bit hotter than usual, but it's kind of dead in here, so I feel super naked. But something like this, even something like that, like it's still relatively clean if I'm playing more like. But I'm hitting really, really hard. That's the difference. That's why you can really hear some of those bends, or you can really hear my hands. I'm like. Just hitting a little bit harder. And that came from bad picking. I had to make up for it with some downstrokes and just trying to consciously play cleaner. I think somewhere along the line in practice, you get to a point where like you can do all this stuff and you can play pretty fast, but then you're like, well, what do I do with it? Like I can't maybe play this live in front of someone without having the guitar up a certain height, sitting down with the right amount of gain, the right pedal, and then that's kind of like it's a bit of a crutch. So you just have to consciously play and be like, I gotta make sure my vibrato's clean, like when you land on a note. Things, and then what are you doing around that? Like typically when I land on a note, like if I hit a note like that, the notes around it are muted, and that's just something you try and be conscious about when you get to a certain point.
How did you hook up with Keith Merrill?
I met him a few years ago through, I don't even know. It might have been through Seymour Duncan, but he reached out to me and he was really into what I was doing, and we have like similar personalities. We just got along really well, and then he introduced me to these guys. But it was just like a YouTube thing. He saw some stuff I was doing, and he reached out, and we actually have a lot of cool stuff coming. We're going to China together in a couple of weeks, actually next month. We're doing like an album together and stuff, and he does a lot of Seymour Duncan demos. If you ever watched any like heavier kind of humbucking demos from Seymour Duncan on YouTube, it's probably been him. Great guy though, awesome guy. Yeah.
You use amps or the Kemper?
Yeah,
or the
I use this amp. Yeah, just a mic. The last one, the newest one, is just an SM57.
You don't go for the amp model?
No. I like the possible inconsistencies and realness, and I mean they're both great, and the Kemper, and I think the Kemper especially is amazing. Like it's pretty damn good. Anybody use Kemper amp? Anybody? No. I guess it's like that and Axe Effects are like the two kind of main digital modeling. Next, this Line 6 Helix thing coming out, it's going to be a new one. But yeah, they're great. They're getting really, really close.
Do you prefer the Kemper or the Fractal?
Oh yeah. I won't touch the Fractal.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. It's outdated, man. Like, I don't like it. Yeah, I'm not into it. But anyways, regardless. Oh God.
At 18 years old, what made you pick up the guitar?
I saw this guy pull a skateboard out of the back of his car, and I was just like, then he pulled another one out, then he pulled another one out, and he stacked them all up on top of each other. Then he did like an ollie over the skateboard, and I was like, that guy's really cool. Then the next day, I remember hearing in his basement, he was like playing just like some power chords, and I remember hearing that through like an open window. Just being like, what the hell is that sound? Because I thought up until that point you had to be like a professional, or you had to be someone with a degree, or guitar was very an unattainable concept to me. Because I don't have a musical family. I don't know anybody in my family, or they don't know anybody that plays. Like it was never a thing. My dad loves Led Zeppelin, but that's as far as the guitar went in my house. So it was him.
Did you play in bands growing up, or?
Not a lot of bands. I didn't play in I played in a high school band, just like a fun little thing. But I didn't really join a band until I was about 20. But I was the rhythm guitar player in an instrumental like acoustic world music band.
Okay.
So I had to focus a lot on just rhythm guitar and like harmonic minor and melodic minor and things like that. But that's where I got a lot of those kind of different rhythms and chord changes. Like that last song, like the verse, for example, is let's see what we got here. Which I would always hear in either surf music or gypsy music or Mediterranean music. You know, using those harmonies where you're basically switching between, like over that, it's like thinking that as a million different things. So just like a lot of movement in that. But I picked up a lot of that from playing in this instrumental band, like rhythm guitar in the world music band. And we played a lot, like we did a bunch of touring, and that was like my main kind of band years, formative years for that stuff.
Did you study jazz?
No.
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 Okay.
No, I took guitar lessons for about 6 months or so when I was about 18.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of my theory and harmony and stuff.
Mhm.
And I just played a lot, you know.
Yeah.
6, 7, 8 hours a day. I was one of those losers in the room all day playing, locked away from society.
Well, the Schecter Custom Shop came about basically because back in the 70s, there were some changes that went around with ownership of guitar companies, and a lot of people had guitars, and the music was changing, and people wanted to modify guitars, and there was really a need for a custom shop. So in 1976 in Sun Valley, California, Schecter started building guitars for people and modifying guitars for people, and things have just evolved over the years. New music came out, as you know, in the late 70s. The traditional rock and roll bands became known as dinosaur bands, and the punk rock came, the new wave came after the punk rock, and then that matured a little bit, and bands like Dire Straits came out of Scotland and England, and so there were different sounds that we were hearing, and people needed the guitars to produce different sounds, and that's exactly what Schecter did. And some of these acts that came out at that time used Schecter product, and even the dinosaur bands, like for instance the Who, you know, and of course they became relevant again later on, and now it's all come full circle, and it's a huge smorgasbord of music out there for us to enjoy.
You know which guitar sounded really full on that amp was that blue Schecter.
Yeah, it's killer.
Yeah. Can you plug that one in again?
Yeah.
Oh,
Cool.
That was fun.
Thank you guys.
Big hands.